Okay, I think we'll get going. If anybody comes, they'll join us. Right, we were doing environmentalism and ecologism, and I was trying to tell you that environmentalism was the word first used by people who wanted to protect the environment, which is the ecology. But over a period of time, people have decided not to call it environmentalism because of the fact that environmental or environment lends itself to to other things as well, to describe other things as well. You'll say the classroom environment wasn't very good, right? Or you'll say, I didn't like the place. The environment there didn't seem to be very good. So if you look at those kind of usages, environment can also mean things other than ecology. So if you use the word ecology, then you are necessarily talking about flora and fauna uh, of a region or of the whole world or whatever it is. And I told you that the concerns regarding the ecology mainly arose once people realized that the kind of uh, fuels that were being used for the manufacture of various things, and some of these manufactured products themselves were proving to be detrimental to the ecology. And we also discussed this in detail. Um, the quantum growth of the human population has been yet another matter of great concern. Okay, so people therefore stopped talking about environmentalism and started talking about ecologism. Though what I had told you when I first said that this word has a bit of a problem, because any systematic study of one thing, uh, and if you make uh, an argument out of that, then that becomes an ism. Okay, so if you do a systematic study of the society using Marxist methodology, then you're saying that that is Marxism. Similarly, liberalism. Uh, these are not in themselves anything, but these are the models that we use in order to understand what uh, a particular thing is. Now, with ecologism, we have a problem. Ecologism is not an empty word. Uh, the moment you talk about the ecology, you see that uh, a number of things are already uh, there in the word itself. The moment you say ecology. Okay, you could have said environmentalism. That would have been all right, because environmentalism doesn't contain within itself any particular thing. But ecologism is something that contains within it uh, what we call, the life forms that exist on Earth. So, what we are actually studying is preservation of the ecology. We are also trying to understand what were the reasons, or what are the reasons, and what have been the reasons for the denudation of the ecology. Okay, so when you look at these kind of things, then it doesn't make too much sense to talk about an ecologism. What we should be talking about is the preservation of the ecology. Okay, so uh, we basically see that this is what happens when we are talking about the preservation of the ecology. And one more objection that comes in when we kind of look at uh, ecologism is that we really don't know what is the extent to which uh, the ecology extends, and how many different life forms exist within the ecology, and how many of these life forms are disappearing on a daily basis. So these are the things that we have no answers to. So to say that we have some kind of a system that identifies all these things and therefore is an ism uh, is puerile exercise at its best. Okay. Now, if you're looking at uh, the whole idea of ecologism, please remember that it is something that includes all flora and fauna. Okay, you might see certain kinds of animal life or insects, let's say. We may see them as vermin. We may see them as those things are which are actually spoiling our crops, and they are doing damage uh, to the prospects of food security. So if you look at them, then you have all these different kinds of things. Uh, but ecologism will not say, I will look at some of the forms of life as vermin. Okay. I will not look at some of the forms of life as desirable. Okay. If you take the whole idea of the ecology is nothing but a system of checks and balances, not of the separation of powers kinds. Let's put it this way. In the summer season, sometimes you have a lot of mosquitoes. Okay. And now these mosquitoes play havoc with us. I'm not saying they create fevers and all that. It's just that having them going wow in your ear and all that, that itself is a nuisance. Right. Now, if you introduce at this juncture a wall lizard or a gecko, as the Americans like to call it, uh, that actually uh, gobbles up these mosquitoes and other flies. Okay, but then you might have too many lizards, wall lizards. And for a person like me, one wall lizard in the house and I won't sleep in the house. Okay, so just imagine what will happen if you have rooms with wall lizards numbering 4 or 5 happily doing their hunting. So you want to bring those things down. So you get a cat or you get a dog, and cats are known to jump up high enough to catch hold of the wall lizard. For the dog, you have to help it a bit. You just have to take a stick and bring the uh, lizard closer to the floor level, and the dog will take care of it. So you see, what you're doing is when something becomes extra, something becomes intolerable, then there is an attempt to balance out things. What I have given you is an example of balancing out of things uh, with human intervention. But you can also have balancing out of things without human intervention. And this is the point. This is the point that is more important. Okay? Because we really, really do not know what is balancing what out. Okay? And the increased pressure on the resources of the earth basically means that all these things that we see as balancing out sometimes go out of balance. Okay, so if you want to use the Chinese expression yin and yang, you'll say that they are not, the world is perfect when the yin and the yang are uh, absolutely the same degree. Okay, a tilt in favor of one basically means that the world is going to see some kind of a disorder. Okay, so orderliness is the key to the survival of life forms. You may have seen several ads and several programs involving Valmik Thapar. okay, who is closely associated with the Project Tiger, right? And this is no longer being shown on television, or maybe it's being shown on Doordarshan. I don't know. Uh, there was an ad which said, uh, "A- "Agar बाघ is the tiger. अगर बाघ गायब हो गई तो दुनिया गायब होने में ज्यादा समय नहीं लगेगा." See, you must understand that the tiger is the apex predator. If you leave out the human beings are the ultimate apex predators. Okay, but otherwise, the tiger, at least in Indian forests, is the apex predator. Now, the presence of this apex predator, so to speak, will ensure that there will be, what should I say? Uh, uh, there will be no problems with the lower level of animals. Okay? And if you take the apex predator out of the system, the environmental system, then what do you have? You don't know who's going to become the apex predator. You might not even have an apex predator. Generally, all predators may take this as an opportunity to feast, and that will lead to uh, the denudation of life forms. Okay, this we have learned through experience. Uh, when the Nawabs and the British were busy with shikar or game, uh, so that was the time when they obliterated the cheetah. Okay, so these people went for entertainment to kill animals, and it was not a big thing. It wasn't a big thing at all to kill a herbivore, because a herbivore, what will it do? Nothing. Okay, but a carnivore, and that too one like a cheetah, which is super fast, can challenge your skills of hunting. So they killed the cheetah, the Asian cheetah, the Indian cheetah actually. They have killed it into extinction. Okay. Similar thing was happening with the Asiatic lion. The Asiatic lion today is poised on a brink which can go anyway. If there is some kind of zoonotic disease that spreads from animal to animal very fast, something like a COVID of animals, then they die. And in India, which is the last home of the Gir forests in Gujarat, are the last ones. So if you basically look at that, uh, Today you have 600 lions. And an epidemic, you don't even need a pandemic. An epidemic can kill all 600 lions. They are there today, gone tomorrow. Why has this happened? Again, because people hunted the lion. They hunted the lion. And it's a very funny thing. I don't know if you've noticed. Uh, you will find that our national animal is a tiger. But look at the names that people have. If you take the Sikhs, all of them write Singh. Singh is actually Sinha. Sinha is a lion. So the Sikhs were supposed to be as brave as the lions. Similarly, Rajputs. Rajputs also wrote their names as Singh, which is again sin. And you also have another variation on this, Sinha. Okay, Sinha is also nothing but a lion. Okay, Simha, which is what you'll find more in the southern part of the country, that is also lions. You don't find anybody writing tiger at the end of their name. Nobody writes that. So, and even if you look at the mythology of the ancient Indians, which has come down to us in a sublated form, not one sublation, several sublations, you will find that the goddesses, except for one or two, refer to tiger, but the rest all used uh, lions to travel around. Okay, so the symbol of prestige is not the tiger. That's not the tiger. Okay, the symbol of prestige is the lion. And because the lion was the symbol of prestige, people hunted it down. It's a miracle that they didn't go the cheetah way. Uh, that is because of the fact that there are certain populations, mainly tribal populations, that protect the lion in the Gir forests. Okay, and that's why we have some lions left as of now. We don't know how long they'll last. It's not like we didn't hunt the tigers. Okay, people found some kind of an excuse. This is a man-eater. This is that. This is this. And people went and hunted tigers. But tigers are nowhere as close to extinction as lions are. We have now over 3,000 tigers in the wild. Okay, which is a good number, given it's not a good number in absolute terms. Given the circumstances, it is a pretty decent number. Okay, so on the one hand, we have been hunting these animals down. And on the other hand, what we have been doing is that I talked to you about this the other day, we have been peacefully converting forest lands into agricultural lands. And if we convert all of these into agricultural lands, then uh, you have the problem of the herbivores not finding enough food. And you need the herbivores, especially animals like the elephant. Okay? The role of the elephant is very different from the role of the tiger as an apex predator. The elephant is something which can be domesticated and it can be used to do heavy work. So in India and in Sri Lanka and in the whole of Southeast Asia, you will find that the elephant is a beast of burden because it does very heavy work. Okay, they're trained to do heavy work. And if you only have domesticated animals, then you don't have the balance of having these wild animals in the forests. So you need to leave some of these animals as wild animals. So if you're, say, passing from Bandipur, if you're going from Mysore to Ooty, you have one part of the road which is called Bandipur in Karnataka. And after you cross over into Tamil Nadu, then it becomes Mudumalai, right? The forest is essentially the same, just as we like to draw boundaries for some reasons. So you will see, uh, especially on the Bandipur side of uh, the forests, the eastern Ghats, you will see fairly large herds of elephants. And these large herds of elephants are left as they are. Okay? Nobody wants to tamper with them. Because if you tamper with them, then their number falls, and then the balance in the forest is gone again. Okay? And the balance in the forest is not just animal balance, both plant and animal balance. Okay? And if you go to Assam, for instance, you will now see, and some of the Sri Lankan elephants are also manifesting this uh, phenomenon. You will find elephants not growing tusks because a lot of poaching of elephants is done for the ivory, which is in the tusks of the elephants. So what happened is poachers were merrily at one time, slaughtering uh, the elephants and taking the tusks out and selling them for exorbitant prices in different markets across the world. Okay, so you see, in the last 10 years, new kind of uh, phenomenon has emerged. Maybe not just 10 years, a little more, maybe. Uh, Asian elephants are no longer growing tusks. A majority of them, not all of them, have stopped growing tusks, but a majority of them are not growing tusks. Okay, that's nature's way of adjusting to uh, what is happening with uh, the poachers and the tuskers. Okay, so now you may say this is not a bad thing at all. It's quite all right. Uh, so no tusks. Nobody wants the elephant. What will you do with the rest of the elephant? You won't do much with the rest of the elephant, right? That's what we'll think. But the loss of the tusks is a very, very important factor in the life of an elephant and in the life of human beings. Now, please remember that human beings, I told you, have been using uh, elephants as beasts of burden. So if you look at them as beasts of burden, most of the time you find them in timber logging. Okay, you find them in timber logging. So what do? They create a pile of timber logs, one on top of the other. And how do they get them up? The tusks. They dig the tusks into the ground, pick the uh, uh, what should I say, the log, the timber, and put it up. So an elephant without tusks is not just a useless thing only for poachers. It is also a useless thing for people who use them as beasts of burden. There was a documentary once on National Geographic. Okay, it was a documentary on the Madurai temple built by Rajaraja Chola, right? And what fascinated the Westerners was that they saw that the whole temple, the temple is not just one temple, one gopuram or something, no. The Madurai temple is so big that it can house 10 Vatican cities in it. Okay. So you see this whole of this mega complex is built with granite. And if you know, granite is basically the most difficult stone to break. Okay? If you want to break granite, if you want to cut it into proper shapes, it's one of the most difficult things to do. So what basically uh, bamboozled the Westerners was how did they carve out of granite and how did they raise granite to different heights? Okay. And they saw a typical granite log and they tried to cut it with a steel blade. Okay. And they started running the blade. Now, when steel is trying to cut uh, the granite rock, it generates tremendous heat. So if you don't want that kind of heat, and you shouldn't want, uh, then you have to keep pouring water. Okay, so to break a granite stone, shut up, shut up. Oh, no. So if they tried breaking a granite stone of a certain dimension, they found that they used 1,000 liters of water. 1,000 liters of water to make that cutting. One cut. Now, if you're going to go on cutting granite at this rate, then there'll be no water left even in the sea. So they were quite taken aback. And it was at that time that they found a book from the days of Raja Chola, which was in Tamil. And they got people to read it. What is this about? So they said this is about uh, breaking granite. So they said, how did people break granite in the days of the Cholas? And what they found was that the Cholas had an ingenious technique. What they would do is they take a granite block. You decide that this has to be broken into 6 or 8 pieces, whatever. Then you make holes just this deep, okay, or maybe a little deeper. You make holes in the granite and you take sal wood. Sal is very, very hard. Okay, you take sal wood, you put it in water. You put it in water for some time till it absorbs the water and then hammer those salwood pieces into the uh, holes that you had made. 3 days later, that granite rock was no longer there as a granite rock. It was broken to 6 or 8 pieces, as was desired. Now, those of you who are thinking that I'm trying to tell you cock and bull stories, I'm telling you this because somewhere later we have to talk about sustainability of the ecology vis-a-vis technology. Okay, so here was a method that did not use water. Salwood was available. They're not putting one tree into one granite block. And then they again wanted to know, how is it that the granite rock was hoisted up so high? And when they looked around the topography was the temple and its gopuram were basically at a lower level. And around were small hillocks, mounds, all those. So they used elephants. They used elephants to push the granite up the slope. And after that, they put again the salwood, big pieces this time, not small ones. And they got the elephants to push that stone into position where it had to be put. So you see, when we talk about ecology, we are not talking about our relationship as a passive relationship with other flora and fauna. Okay, we're not talking about that like that. It's like, yeah, there are tigers, good, let them be. There are lions, let them be. There are elephants, let them be. There are rhinos, let them be. Right? It's not like that. We have, even after we came out of nature and became civilized, we still needed these animals. We still needed these animals basically to do work for us. And we still need them. We still need them. Okay, so that is the reason why in Kaziranga, both the rhino and the elephant are revered. Okay, when the flooding of the Kaziranga National Park happens, the elephants go up onto mountain slopes. The vulnerable animal is the rhino because it has a very poor eyesight. But it also somehow manages to go out of the water and get to some height where it is safe. Okay, so if you are looking at this, it shows that even the rhino is important to you. The rhino is also very important to you, though it is not a beast of burden. It is an animal that is important because in its dung there are several species of insects that have medicinal value. And the rhino, in conjunction with the elephant, acts as a check on the power of the carnivores. The carnivores here are tigers, leopards. They act as a check on the power of that because these are beasts that no carnivore can kill. The only predator that the rhinos and uh, the elephants have are human beings. We are the only predators. Otherwise, they don't have any natural predators. And they have, for centuries, played a great role in keeping the ecological balance alive. It's not just these, you go underwater, it's a completely separate story. Okay? The crocodiles, they've been there since the days of the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs became extinct, but the crocodiles haven't. The crocodiles play a very, very important role in the maintenance of balance. If it is a freshwater crocodile in a river, and if it is a seawater crocodile in the sea, saltwater crocodiles, then it is in the sea. The ghadial, I don't know if you've seen it, the one that has a long tusk-like mouth. The ghadial, which is one of the things in the river Ganga, it's a very important thing. Why? Because we people burn half burnt bodies and we throw them into the Ganga. The ghadials and all act as scavengers. They act as scavengers. If you take the ghadial out, then Ganga will stop and there'll only be dead bodies. So you see, every which way you look at it, even in your home, a cat and a rat, right? Cats take care of rats, as do dogs. Dogs also take care of cats. Right, so it's all maintenance of balance. So if somebody asks you to define ecologism, you will say ecologism is leaving nature to have a balance between opposing tendencies. Well, sometimes intervention by human beings is a good thing, like it happened in the case of the Gir forests and lions, and also in the case of tigers. It was a good thing that happened. And there is no reason why you should say humans should not intervene. But every human intervention, before it is done, will first have to be seen as necessary or unnecessary. Sometimes when we intervene, we spoil things further. We spoil things further. Okay, so this is as far as life on earth, life on ground is concerned. Now, if you go down into the ocean, then that's a completely different story. Okay, not that uh, you don't need. When I say different story, that is a different story in a different way. It's acted out differently. No, it's not acted out differently, but the players are different. The stakes are different, and what we look at are also different. Okay, right now in ecologism, we are trying to increase oxygen, cut down dangerous gases such as carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, all these, which are not just dangerous to us, they're dangerous to the other forms of life as well. At some point, we have decided that the earth is ours. Okay. Whatever is there in the earth is there for us. Okay. That's why you'll find so many women, mothers, writing letters to the municipality through newspapers saying, please remove these street dogs and kill them. Their population is becoming more, and we fear that that may not be good for our children. If they go out, they may be bitten or whatever. So take out these dogs and kill them. Really? Who gave you the right to kill them? If you kill a man, then you committed a heinous crime. You kill an animal, an elephant, which is 10 times your size. Not a crime. So you must understand that we live in a human-centric universe, which is we believe that the bounties of nature are there for us. Okay? The bounties of nature are there for us, which is not true. This planet belongs to every living being as much as it belongs to us. We have arrogated this planet to ourselves, and in the process, we have basically destroyed the ecology. I'll stop here today. I think I'm beginning to get a vertigo, this thing. So tomorrow I'll talk about the importance of ecology as an underwater species, specifically the coral reef, and then Madam Srilata put civil society. I don't know, do animals have a civil society? Somebody please tell me. I thought civil society was initially a Aristotelian construct rehashed by John Locke and once again rehashed by Hegel and then by Gramsci. So we'll talk about that. Civil society, please don't think civil society groups. Civil society groups are activist groups. They are not. They are ill-educated. They can't tell their foot from their mouth, and therefore they put their foot in their mouth very regularly. So tomorrow we'll go into that dimension as well. Thank you. Vertigo is becoming worse. So thank you very much again. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.